As Typhoon Studios' debut game, Journey to the Savage Planet was a surprise hit in 2020, instantly capturing players' attention with its vibrant world and exploration, and holding that attention with its irreverent humor and goofy approach to the sci-fi genre. The developer was acquired by Google in 2019 and placed under the Stadia umbrella, which was promptly shuttered in early 2021. This didn't spell the end for the scrappy creators, however, with former members of Typhoon forming Raccoon Logic in 2021 and pouring their hearts and souls into a sequel to their fan-favorite first title. Revenge of the Savage Planet refines and polishes everything players loved about Journey while honoring fan feedback and adding new features that make the title one of the most enjoyable gaming experiences in 2025 so far. While the first game was filled with fun collectibles, the lack of a map or any checklists gave players no way to track what they had already discovered, making it hard to reach 100% completion and frustrating those with zero sense of direction and a poor memory. Revenge of the Savage Planet has addressed this, adding a detailed map feature, numerous collectible trackers, and objective markers that inspire players to branch out and explore beyond the main story. Experimenting with weapons and running headfirst into danger is all part of the fun, and the flora and fauna found on the game's varied planets are even more quirky than before. These creatures boast clever names like Zitpopper on the back and Babbit, the latter being a baboon rendered in reverse. During a later portion of the game, players even come into contact with upgraded cyber beasts, each boasting enhancements that make survival even more of a challenge, like laser beam visors and plasma shields. With countless sci-fi adventure titles available on the market, it can be difficult for one to stand out among the crowd. As seen in its predecessor, Revenge of the Savage Planet has a clear sense of identity from the get-go, with its wildly colorful art style and ridiculous character animations indicative of the studio's commitment to making something bizarre rather than cookie-cutter. While the title's design director, Steven Masters, previously worked on heavy hitters like Assassin's Creed 3 and Splinter Cell, Conviction during his stint at Ubisoft, Raccoon Logic boasts a mere 30 developers, opening the door to boundless creativity and questionable humor, best described as a blend of idiocracy and Spaceballs. Indie games have pushed their way to the forefront in the first half of 2025, with releases like Claire Obscure, Expedition 33 and Wanderstop reinvigorating jaded audiences and reminding the community of what is possible when inventiveness and originality are encouraged. Those with Xbox Game Pass will be able to instantly jump into the wackiness on May 8th, and given the quality and pure, unfiltered joy found in every moment of Revenge of the Savage Planet, it's easy to imagine players falling in love at first sight. Revenge of the Savage Planet's brand of humor feels natural and easy. The game begins after a mishap sends players plummeting to an alien world, leaving them stranded until their precious cargo is found and a proper base of operations is established. Without giving too much of the title's other story beats away, the staff at the protagonist company conjure images of Severance and Office Space, filled with false smiles and cringy platitudes that make the game more relatable than most would expect. Journey to the Savage Planet stood out for its approachable and non-tryhard comedy, and Revenge has only enhanced this standout feature, making it one of the very few games in recent memory that doesn't shoehorn in its jokes. Everything is designed to make players smile and let out the occasional chuckle, from creature names to the game's systems themselves. Respect should always be given to a genuinely funny video game, especially in the current ecosystem, when more and more developers seem to take themselves too seriously. After stumbling upon your base of operations in the somehow aptly named settlement of New Florida, customization options are immediately available, with several spacesuits to choose from and more scattered throughout the world. In a nod to fellow indie developer Mintrocket, players can even cosplay as Dave the Diver, with the skin unlocked at the start of the title. Bases are also largely customizable, with a hefty catalog of furnishings and other goodies allowing players to make their stay on these alien worlds a little less cold and lonesome. Killing monstrous beasts is, understandably, a necessity as you work to log every single tree, shrub, and raccoon adjacent being during exploration runs, but some creatures can also be captured and brought back to a cozy habitat. Something I didn't expect to enjoy quite so much was Revenge of the Savage Planet's soundtrack. At times, it melds well with Revenge's satirical overtones, with wacky synths layered over one another in an almost comical reimagining of sci-fi films of the distant past. During battle, however, the humor falls away, leaving behind a groove on the electric guitar that left my head banging. When players reach the game's final planet, they're treated to an even larger contrast, with the music used to expertly enhance the mysterious and sometimes frightening vibe of the area, which is filled with secrets and untold dangers. The collectathon element of Revenge of the Savage Planet is only outshined by its satisfying gameplay. The simplicity of the title's premise makes the game a perfect canvas for open-ended exploration, with Revenge of the Savage Planet quickly excelling over its predecessor thanks to an incredibly detailed map, making it easier than ever to locate points of interest, track collectibles, and strive for that perfect 100% completion score. Scan everything. Find every supply crate. Find cash to furnish your cozy new home away from home. This isn't busy work, it's the entire point. Exploration isn't treated as a side activity or an afterthought, or simply a way to shoehorn in some goofy lore. In many ways, it feels like the main quest, and that's incredibly refreshing. The game may not be incredibly long, but I couldn't help but take my time everywhere I went, eager to see every nook and cranny of each peculiar world. As players explore each unique planet, they are tasked with scanning unknown creatures and plant life, with this handy feature also offering clues as to how certain unfriendly lies can be defeated. Shooting things doesn't always work, with some enemies only falling after being soaked with a hose and others requiring an electric shock or two. After coming into contact with a fair number of different monsters, I became a tad too cocky, soon finding myself running in a desperate panic to escape, only to head face first into a poison cloud. The Metroidvania aspects of the title are well-paced and largely non-frustrating, which is a difficult balance to strike, with backtracking never feeling like a chore or without meaning. The word that immediately came to mind when first jumping into Return of the Savage Planet is joyful. It's an out-of-pocket word to pick for a goofy indie space exploration title, but immediately after booting it up, everything from the voice acting and setting to gameplay and humor made me smile. There's an undercurrent of love found on every screen, with the small team behind the game weaving their passion and playfulness into each pixel. A bigger team doesn't necessarily mean a better product, and sometimes, all players need is a little chaos, an electric whip, a few fart jokes, and the promise of more adventures on the horizon. I give Revenge of the Savage Planet 9 out of 10.